One of the major questions that we get is startups that have a product, they have a beta version, or they're just launching a beta version, and they want to get their first customers. And what's the trick here? How to get the first initial traffic?
No, so we'll start with an easy one. No, it's a very common question, and the cool thing is that there is no right or wrong answer. Traditionally, every time you talk to a CEO or something like that, they will have always done it a different way. But kind of my advice is, like, this is the time when you've really got to go away and use your network. Like, you can't be afraid. If you've got a friend and you know that what you're selling is going to improve something for them, offer it them. You might do it.
What if you have no network? What if you are just, you came up with an idea, you see the opportunity, you're not necessarily your own customer, although it's always the best to create businesses where you are your customer. But what do you do otherwise? How do you get those first?
So, I mean, you've got to grind them out, but I don't mean like, this is like, I always quote it, it's like, the second reason most businesses fail, I can't remember the first one, but I always remember it for a second, was that there's no market need. So it's to be honest, and I don't mean this to be like kind of
so people are creating a mix of a GoPro, drone, 3D printer that's unique, but nobody needs that.
It doesn't solve a problem. So it's normally really a good first like barrier of am I really solving a problem? Because if you are, there will be complete strangers that are talking about the problem, or it'll be easy to identify who is the kind of person that my product, service, whatever it may be, is actually going to solve or make their life better. If there's not, even in your own network, you're either you're before your time, or you're just not solving a problem.
Is it possible that somebody is just trying to fix problem outside their current community? Like I can see a lot of problems for corporates, even though I don't spend a lot of time with them per se.
No, I agree. So what I would say is again, not to kind of like be cliche, but if you're selling to everybody, you're selling to nobody, right? So like you said, even if you knew that you've not got any experience in the corporate world, but you know that your new service solves a corporate problem, try to really narrow in on who is the perfect buyer. So it's not just corporation. Which corporation? People with more than 500 customers or more than 5 million or X amount of employees. Then you narrow down a little bit more. And then, then you can really say, well, I'm only one person. I can only do so much. I can only sell so much, but I'm going to go after these 100 people because they are exactly the people that I solve the problem of.
What if for some reason, your community is totally outside your target customer base? Like, when we were launching our product for the US version, the US version of our product, we literally knew nobody from US, like nobody could even check our website for grammar errors that were like, we didn't know anybody from US. So how do you grind out those initial contacts for people that want to launch their product in Brazil, US, while being here in Poland or whatever?
Personal preference is, I think you've got two ways to do it. You can either go what I would say traditional, which is to go out and kind of use the tools like LinkedIn, like target people by the data, the demographics, like this company has this many employees and so on. But the second thing is what I would really recommend, because long term, it saves you a ton of money, is become an expert in what you're doing. So, if you are, if you're selling cheese abroad, be the go-to person for the topic of cheese. And that will pay you back, not only for making those first sales, but forever. Forever.
It's building a credibility with your target audience.
Like when we do recruitment, or when I talk to salespeople, like the worst thing anyone can say to me is, I can sell anything. I can sell sand to the Egyptians. Like, I don't like that. you shouldn't, if you're perfect at selling everything, you're not probably passionate about what you're actually selling anyway. So, and that comes over to customers. They feel when you really believe in what you're talking about.
So, like, getting to the practical point, like where do you get those initial leads? You mentioned LinkedIn. Any other sources that we could look for the leads, depending on the problems that you solve?
Sure. So, I mean, it all depends on the problem. Like LinkedIn is just an obvious one, especially in the B2B space.
Yeah.
If it's, if it was B2C, you could go more like, I'm obviously very social minded. So I'm going to talk about things like Twitter and Facebook and so on. But there are also maybe specific forums, we do this
to find doctors on, on message boards or
and
plumbers, whatever.
The easiest way to do it is put into Google what is the problem you actually solve, and look what's ranking high. Is it a blog post? Is it a forum? Is it a company?
In this way, you'll find the communities to engage and hopefully get the feedback. The
days are gone of picking up the yellow pages and going day one. Like my first job was selling recycling bins for print cartridges.
No way.
Because in England it's illegal to throw them in a regular trash. I'm sorry, this is boring as hell, but
we known each other for a while, but I had no idea he used to sell bins. But we wouldn't hire somebody with that background.
But the fact was, day one was like, here's your car key, your company car. Here's a map. Go. I was like, awesome. I think the first place I went to was McDonald's and just sat down for an hour. So, but that's how it used to be, and a lot of companies still do it that way. But I think it's crazy. It's not so.
Is it, however, that different from just hustling it and finding those leads on the web rather than in the real world? Right?
No, I mean, yeah, it's still hustling. It's still awkward to be like, even on LinkedIn, like, hello, I don't know you. Would you like to buy something?
True.
But the thing is, like, you told me this, and I think a lot of founders and CEOs say it, is when you actually grow, you miss those days when you could really give each lead, because the feedback. There's a book, a sales book by Art Sobieski, something like that, right? Something like that. And he taught, and it's amazing. When I first learned this, it was the best thing ever. That as a salesperson or as a business person, you decide what is a no. You decide what's a fail. So when you think, oh, the guy, that customer, that lead didn't give me their money, it's a fail. Maybe it's not. Maybe they told you 10 things you can improve.
Right.
It's still a benefit. It's still a win. It might not be dollars, or it might not be whatever, but it's value. So you've got to decide. You can't just be like, I need your money or never talk to me again. Sure. There's so many other levels.
So you mentioned briefly some details regarding so we already partly discussed how do you get the initial traction in terms of traffic, in terms of audience, in terms of attention, really, how to get attention from your potential customers. How do you go there in details? Because I feel like sales, it becomes a bad word in a way. Like being a salesman is instantly related to those pushy guys that call you and offer you financial advising or whatever, enlargement.
Nobody's true. Like, even if I'm meeting new people, I'm like, oh, what do you do? And even if it's like a party, it's like totally relaxed. I'm in sales. They suddenly are like, he's gonna convince me to do something I don't want to do. So no. It's the stereotype, but it's earned. It's a real stereotype because there are a lot of shitty salespeople.
So like my initial thoughts about the sales and especially in early days, that you're more about it's more about asking people for feedback rather than their money, or you don't use words like offer, you don't use words like pricing, like sales, buy, whatever. You contact as many people as you can to get their feedback, which is super valuable for the founders or creators, and if your product is good enough, it will get them excited. It will solve their problems good enough for them to start even asking for a payment option. Actually, one of the things that was kind of surprising for us is when we launched the 3 months of beta version in 2011, when we started. Like 1,000 people trying out the Brand24, and actually even before we created the company, we formalized the company. You know, we had people asking us for pricing, asking us for an upgrade, even before we had a payment system.
Sure.
And I feel like this should be kind of a approach, and we never ask them about the money. So we always ask them about the feedback to get to know the brand. We tweak the product based on the feedback. So I feel like the first sales are not about sales per se. The sales is somewhat like a byproduct of really good relationship with those first early adopters or first testers that got to see your product and get to use it and find it good enough to pay for.
And it's more like, even it's a little bit like life skills. Like it's confidence. People like confidence.
Yeah.
If your first 50 sales, you had to give discounts away to get those first 50 sales. It's not because of the discount. You're probably going to have to look and say, well, maybe we're overpriced, if that's the only reason. Like, it's just about being confident. Like you said, like if somebody says, no, it's not for me, you've got to believe that you're making the right product for the right people. Now, it's all in an ideal world, right? Like Gary Vaynerchuk says, don't be like the 18-year-old dude and try to score on the first day. Like, you got to play the long game, right? Give value, and they will come back to you anyway. But businesses also need to make money, so you've got to find that.
But
middle.
there's nothing wrong about making money while providing value, while solving problems. It's just that, just like you said, it's all about providing value, and I feel like the young companies don't necessarily get it. They feel like all this is for them to make money and for customers to give them something, rather than all the way around. And to be honest, I made a huge mistake like this. I felt the same. Even in some ways, I even thought about this subconsciously. So for example, I found myself agreeing to customers' pleas for sharing something on my Facebook wall, going there to whatever city to do a workshop, to be on their conference, just because I felt I'm supposed to pay them for buying my product.
You owe them.
I owe them, right? And this is so bad, right? This shouldn't be an issue. If me sharing their post on Facebook or going to their conference is the only reason, or one of the major reasons they buy my product, then there's something wrong with my product, or they're not my typical customer.
Exactly. And again, we at Brand24 lately, we've kind of outlawed discount codes. We try not to do it anymore, apart from very specific situations, because again, it makes you feel a little bit desperate. Especially when it gets to the end of the month, you've got to hit your targets, and you suddenly like, the only way I can do this is to give a discount code. You actually are being more detrimental, because if someone's ready to buy and then you go, oh, we've just lowered the price for you, they've got to ask yourself why. Any tool that you get now where it's free forever, why is it free?
It's much harder to sell the free product, right? Even with the paid version, people don't really, how would you say, they don't respect the products that are free, right?
Yeah, but they haven't invested anything themselves. They haven't had to put even a single dollar on. An investment doesn't have to be, by the way, money. It could be time. It could be an email address. Like, you should value people's email addresses nowadays. But like, if it cost them nothing, it's cost them nothing to lose it. Right. And that's the tough part.
Actually, you mentioned a little bit or we talked a little bit about the early days of our company and how we had our first sales. And I actually remember, doing most of this stuff by myself. And this is how we get to the second point of our discussion. So whether it's good or bad to hire or not to hire, but work with or outsource your sales at early stage. So you find you create a cool product, then you get some company that's really skilled in sales, like a call center or whatever, and you get them to sell your product. Is it a good idea?
Like, I would love to say no, because I don't believe in it and I wouldn't do it. But of course there are going to be success stories out there of people that did.
Sure, right.
But for me, like, again, we come from a very value. I like working at Brand24 because we have the same vision of value first. Customer satisfaction is everything. And I just, like, my main goal when we build teams, like, so at Brand24, we don't have sales and customer support. They're customer success. Like, you know, everybody pitches in. Because I feel that when you pass a customer at any point in their journey,
sure,
it causes confusion, or they can make them feel. So the worst thing you could have is a customer, like, I've seen it before, you probably all had these, right? You have what we call a chaser. So you have that one person in the sales department that does 1,000 calls, but it's just appointment setting.
Yeah.
And how stupid it is when they call you and they go, okay, Mick, I'd love to talk. And you go, if I said to that person, okay, you've sold me, I want to buy now, they couldn't sell it.
Yeah.
It has to go through the change man. For me, it's not right. But when it comes to outsourcing, I feel you're diluting the value. You're diluting the product. And more so, like we talked about before, you are missing, no's are probably more valuable than yeses in the early days, because you learn why.
Absolutely, I couldn't agree more. That the no's and the feedback that you get from customers is the most important thing you can get at the early stage, because typically your early version of the product is not necessarily your dream come true or the customer's dream come true, solution for anything. So the early days are the best source of feedback. I actually miss that a lot. That, you know, at late 2011 when we launched the product and I was doing all the sales, there was never time in our history where I learned more about needs of customers, about problems that we solve, than at this early stage. So why in the hell would you miss on that?
And I think a lot of it is down to kind of being afraid. Like, doing sales is a scary thing. And the second thing is, some people, for some people, building a product, building a company, for some of them, it's just a process.
Yeah.
They're not in it because they love doing what they do. And hiring and outsourcing sales teams will guarantee you a certain amount of sales.
Right.
It's a machine, but the feeling that the customers are left with, probably the life cycle of those customers, I've got to feel that it hurts it in the long run, personally.
Yeah, I mean, we pretty much come back to the go-to guy, maybe like not the sales go-to guy, but definitely a business go-to guy. So Elon Musk, you mentioned when talking about discounts, right? You found, I remember you shared on our Slack the letter to the employees where, no discounts policy just because it devaluates our product. And actually, one of the there's another like key insight that I got from Elon Musk's biography, that when they were on the edge of the bankruptcy, when selling Model S or pre-sales of Model S or even the model before, he made all the team members, like the engineers, not the marketers, not the salesmen. He made all of them work as a sales, call their potential customers, whatever, and it made all the difference. And apparently, especially in the early stage, the founders, the creators, the engineers might be way better salespeople than the decorated salespeople from outside the company that don't necessarily understand what problem they solve.
And that's the key. Like, again, you'll keep coming back to it. If you're going to be successful as a product or service, you have to solve a problem, and you have to keep repeating that. And then if you're solving a problem, the people that are solving the problem in your company, whether or not they're designers, and they've got to know the same thing. They've got to know the problem, and they've got to believe in it a little bit as well. As cheesy as it sounds, they've got to believe that they're doing something, making a difference, and those kind of things. So I mean, I still get. I know this sounds terrible. I still get a little bit frustrated when people pitch me on LinkedIn or email in Polish.
Wow.
Now, I get it, but it's just one click of looking through my past history would tell them, like, probably doesn't speak Polish.
Actually, you do. I've heard you swear a lot during. We played FIFA yesterday a lot, and during the company integration, and apparently Mick knows.
I know the swear words. Yeah, yeah. No, sure. So no, but yeah. So we did first sales, which is grind it out, but don't do it in a douche way.
Yeah. So personalized. But let's get back to stats for a moment.
Yeah.
So. Our current statistics are from 1,000 contacts, let's say. So we mostly get, or we only get inbound sales. So from 1,000 new people that are visiting our website, we get around 8% signups. So around 80 trials, so 80 demo accounts. And from this 80 demo accounts, we get on average with both versions probably like 4 to 5% conversion rate.
Yeah.
So it's
4, 5 sales. Yeah, quick math. Yeah.
Yeah.
So for every 1,000 visitors, we get 4 new customers, roughly.
Four new customers for every 1,000 contacts, right? And it's still pretty good business. So I feel like young companies forget about it, and they think that knocking on 10 doors will get them X amount of customers.
But you have to have thick skin. Imagine that was a real life scenario, right? That you had to speak to 1,000 people, and 996 of them said no to your face, like right there.
Yeah.
And you have to go, okay, next one.
I actually always imagine during the conferences, like imagine all of the audience saying no and just 4 people saying yes. It sounds like a really shitty business, right? But apparently it's a good one, right?
Yeah, and because you've got to, in sales, I've always said you've got to ride the highs and the lows at the same time. You've got to, like, I know that some people outside of sales, when you hear these stories that companies have a bell you ring when you get a sale and stuff, they sound cheesy. And we don't have a bell here at
We will soon enough.
But you need to. Those sales have to emotionally make you feel good. And that's why you do it, because when you're not selling, when you're off target, you feel like you want the ground to open up and to swallow your whole kind of thing.
Right. So you mentioned a little bit, you talked a little bit about personalization, like you get the offers on LinkedIn that don't even take the little effort to see that you're British and probably don't understand, or Polish is not your primary language. So what do you recommend, in terms of personalization? Is it like a sweet spot, or whether at early stage, especially because we're now talking mostly about early stage sales, do you do quality or do you do quantity and just grind the numbers?
Like I'm gonna totally make up statistic here, but I think it was something like we do this a lot. But
no, just say the stat, make it
sound confident.
In this. It's like
you've probably got something between 3 to 7 seconds of someone's attention to show them that you did a little bit of research. So you don't have to know their life story. You've got to, at some point in those first 3 to 7 seconds, make them realize that you checked them out. And nobody's going to think you're a stalker. You can obviously overdo it if you're like, hey, I know you so well, here's a picture of you in your garden, something like that. But if you just say like, hey, I see that you guys have been on the market for 3.5 years and you're a founder, and you're like, shit, we are on the market for 3.5 years. You're going to give it, the first stumbling point is to get someone to give you their attention. So don't spend hours and hours on leads, but just drop in there somewhere in the first 3 lines, something that makes them realize. We do it like...
Probably a name would be a good start, right?
Yeah, well, you imagine how many don't have it.
How many mails start with, Dear Sir, Madam, would you... we are an innovative company that does this and this, and yet you are not innovative enough to check my name.
It's just, you instantly know it's not worth your time. Right? And people value their time. Where if it is like, hi Mick, and again, and this might sound really stupid, you've got, as a good salesperson will know when to be like, dear Mr. Griffin, or hey Mick, or what's up, Mick? Like you could go through my Facebook and easily know what kind of language I'm okay communicating by. And the more it's like me, like I love when people put hi Mick, but with an exclamation mark at the end of Mick. Like literally they're going, hey Mick. And I'm like, wow, I like this person. So, but that's like, you just drop in something that says, I gave a shit enough today to at least learn a little bit about you.
Got it.
And that's it. And the rest of the pitch is obviously different for each brand. But if you want to get in the front door, just a little bit, I see that you've done this. I know that your job title is this. I imagine that you have this problem, because I see this and this, and then I'm going to make a gut decision. Yes, I do. No, I don't. And by the way, this is how I solve it, or this is how. Let me show you how we solved it for somebody else.
Right. So again, at the early days, we send actually 3,000 messages, personal messages. Or I sent, because it was all manual by myself, like, hey Mark, I saw you or like, congrats on becoming a PR manager for this company. I was wondering whether you would love to, and then I talk benefits of our product, and if you want to test it out, it's early beta. I would love your insights. That's it. No sales, no offer, no pricing or whatever. Just insights, personalized, super personalized. I use a lot of Facebook, I use a lot of LinkedIn, obviously email, and the conversion rate was like 30% of those messages end up in demo accounts, right? So not too bad, and but again, the personalization was a key. Like I feel like young companies, they try to, I don't know, Google sales or
they know. When I was working in email marketing, you have stories of people buying 500,000 email addresses off eBay,
or scraping email addresses and just being like mailing.
And again, the sad thing is, it will get you sales. Just law of averages. The conversion rate is there. It's super low, but you have to appreciate how much you're not only turning off the people that don't buy, they will never come back to you.
Yeah, and probably the loyalty of the customers that you sign is much lower than because it's it's actually like make or like get or generate customers rather than make sales, because the customer like embodies something loyal.
This might sound really weird or really backward, but we panic the most at Brand24 when someone buys on day zero.
Yeah. Because
we suddenly think they might not know what they bought. They reacted too quickly. Most companies will be like, woo. But for us, that's the first person on our list to call and say, are you sure you know what you've got? Can I show you the other benefits? Like, it's a panic for us, and that's the thing, that anyone that buys a product from a super cold email that was not personalized, targeted, sent at the right time, it's luck. It's just forcing forcing a sale,
right?
And I don't think it's scalable, and I don't think it's the right way to do it. But like I said at the beginning, people will be doing it and they will be happy with it. It's not our way,
right? So we discussed how to get initial audience, how to get initial attention, to engage message boards, to engage whatever, to do one-on-one, to find emails, to write emails, personalized ones, no bulk email campaign, whatever, just one-to-one emails from your personal email or whatever, asking for their insights, not for their money. Any tools? Any tools that we might recommend to the companies?
For the early days stuff.
Early days, yeah.
I mean, the first thing to do is, and we've always kind of kicked ourselves when we haven't done this, is track what you do. Count, even if you're manually counting on a notepad. This is how many emails I sent. Like before, you've got
we use Google Doc for right? Google spreadsheet.
Again, there's no,
still to this day we use it a lot, right?
There's no way that you're going to do 1,000. You're going to get 996 no's and feel you are winning. But if you look and you see that you've got a 4% conversion or a 1% conversion, you'll feel good about it. Signals. It was called Sidekick.
Sidekick, or it might be now called Sidekick. It used to be Signals. One way or another, you Google HubSpot Sidekick, or you'll get the.
So, and I think there's other tools that do it now as well.
We actually just met with the tool from Wroclaw called Woodpecker, which is really cool, high
deliverability. Boom.
That's the word. And a really cool tool for any stage, to be honest, sales. We're just testing. So.
But like, you know, these tools, like the way to sell is to hit the right consumer at the right point when they're ready to buy. And it's the same thing. So you've got a tool like Sidekick from HubSpot. It tells you when even a personal email is opened, and when it is continuously opened.
Right.
So you've sent an email to someone 5 days ago, no reply, no response, and you're thinking, should I hit them again? Simple. Like, don't go out. To be honest, I wouldn't even buy a CRM system day one. Like,
I feel like this is one of the mistakes that early stage companies do. They get too excited about the tools, that the workflows. They make it super professional, yet they don't grind enough numbers. They don't make enough contacts to generate sales, right? So they have amazing pipeline set up within their funnel, graphics and display dashboards, whatever. But there's no one to reach to. Like 5,000 customers manually by Facebook or.
And maybe it's right for your business. Like, maybe having a CRM day one is a good thing.
Yeah.
But like, just my opinion would be, don't go super complex. Like, don't jump into Salesforce day one. Pick a tool or pick a Google Doc, something that, definitely count, but count in the simplest and easiest way. Day one. You can always upgrade tools. We are constantly upgrading tools from a Google Doc to a tool to the next tool to the next tool. And that's also because you've got money to spend. Like, don't blow your budget on the best CRM system in the world when you haven't got any leads in it to manage. But for me, it's all about those tools. Like, again, there's so many nice little tools and plugins for Gmail that, for example, when you hover over the email address, it pops up with their LinkedIn data, or it pops up with their Clout Score or Twitter. Little things that just streamline the way that you work. They're really cool. I really like them.
I actually had I actually used one of the tools, especially I think it might be used for outbound sales. So it links with your Google Calendar. It's called Charlie app. I'll probably share the link in the description. So the Charlie app is like Charlie Chaplin. Charlie app syncs to your Google Calendar, picks up meetings you have planned with people you haven't had meetings before, and then they research the person and they send you a bio.
You get an email beforehand or something like that.
You get an email like 24 hours early, cross-referencing your social with their Twitter, Facebook, whatever, and you see the common ground. So for example, I can see that Mick loves Premier League, right? So we have so much in common.
And it's personalized,
it's personalized.
You get into that conversation and you go like, I saw that you like Liverpool. Right? What happened last week? Like, that's a lot. That happens a lot. But still, it relaxes them, because when people think that you're going to sell them, they put up barriers. And your job as a salesperson or a business person is to lower those barriers.
Sure.
But another tool, you just reminded me of it. It's like, this is a lifesaver for us, is an appointment tool. So there's Calendly, there's Appointly from Poland. Like, imagine how much time you waste with clients when you're like, what time, you send an email, what time would you like to talk tomorrow? I'd like to talk at 3 p.m. Oh, I can't do 3 p.m. Can you do 4 p.m.? And every, it's like with marketing, it's like with websites. Every step you add, you lose conversion. It's just ridiculous. Calendly and Appointly, these are lifesavers, because you just say, pick a time that suits you. And now we walk in, and as a salesperson, I'm walking into 3 scheduled calls that day that the clients have scheduled. leads are coming in and saying, talk to me at 1 p.m. There's no more, I wonder now.
I really love the idea that you also like give tips on sales, on how to create a sales team, a lot of different stuff for startups, later stage companies, whatever. And you created the list also for them to book your appointment. You set up 1 day a week, and it's such a good idea. It takes me so much time these days to asynchronously answer to all those
because it's a win-win, right? I'm not being like selfless. Like I get like you, like we get a lot of questions from people, how do you do this and that, and I want to give them attention. But the flip side is every time someone asks me like we're doing right now, it makes me challenge myself, like, how do we really go out and get leads right now? Is it still accurate? Is there a better way? So it's really good. And we were doing it on every Friday, 2 hours set aside for anybody in the world to ask anything about sales. And to call us out, like if you think anything we said today could be better or worse, or you have a different idea, it's like those valuable no's we were talking about in the beginning, like super open to feedback.
Yeah, please do. If you hate my English, if you hate our setup here in our office, feel free to say. And one more thing, because we're talking about the tools that help you to get those first sales, and I feel like we talk a lot about the pipeline in a way, right? About tools to optimize conversions, to make the workflow pretty automated in a way, or like much more optimized. But I just like lately, I just realized that the getting sales, getting traction, it's mostly about just number of contacts with people, and being open enough to get as many contacts as possible. And I feel like so many companies just, the way they have their contact site, or with this bad form where they ask you like quadrillion details about your company, your shoe size, whatever, that they don't really need. And the forms that everything they say is we don't want to have to deal with you, or we don't want to have any contact with you. They just forget about the contact being the best feedback possible, just like we discussed. And especially in early days, because it's pretty typical that at later stage, the companies get more like proxy, more firewall between them and customers, and it's kind of normal when you have a scale. Like we used to have my phone number everywhere, all over the website. We don't do that anymore. Although my phone number is pretty easy to find all over the web. But I feel like tools like live chat, or more advanced tools, or maybe not more advanced, but like different kind of tools, like marketing automation tools like Intercom or User Engage or whatever. They are a lifesaver, especially at the early stage. Like we used live chat in our early days, and it was a lifesaver because I could be in the cinema, I could be at the queue at the post office, whatever, and I could talk to customers. The customers were always one click away from myself or any representative. At the early stage, we had no representative, so I was doing this all myself.
You don't have to pretend. You don't have to do bullshit. Like we have, like you said, we have Intercom, and I think it was like 3 weeks ago. The sales, the customer success team had gone home. It was like 7 p.m. Someone asked like a question, and I replied. I said, "Listen, I'm literally sat on the train. I can't answer it right now. Is that okay, or should I wake someone up, or should I go?" And the customer said, "No worries. Like, just thank you for at least replying." So be honest. Like,
Oftentimes, this honesty and this replying while being in the cinema, which is okay if you're in a different time zone. Whatever.
It actually builds more loyalty.
It builds more loyalty. It can oftentimes convert to really good PR and good marketing, where customers are so excited about this that they share this information anywhere on the web.
It's like you said about these touch points. Like it's important. I know it's again another cliche. Like consumers are in control. You should, part of what we do now at Brand24 is you should know your ideal customer, right? So let me give you an example. If you are selling a tool for hardcore developers, you do not run a cold calling campaign. Because even if you're tagged in, developers don't like people. They like to, you know, they sit away, they put their headphones on, they like to be in the zone. They do not want to be interrupted by a phone call. Even I'm in sales, I prefer to be sold online. I prefer chats. I don't like being
phone
called.
calls. I hate phone calls. If you want to pitch me anything, do that on Facebook, because it's on my terms, right?
Exactly.
And customers want to be pitched on their terms.
Exactly. But then if I'm going to pitch something to someone like my dad, who my dad loves phone. He can't wait to get on the phone. He hates anything else. So if I've got a tool that's perfect for 60-year-old guys, I'm going to do call. I'm not going to do Twitter or email, because, you know, like, so you've got to know your audience. We have this, like, we know that people that normally buy our Personal Plus plan, they like online only conversations, they like infographics, they like short content, where when we're trying to pitch Pro Max, it's white papers, it's top 100 influencer reports.
Definitely, yeah.
Because we've got to adapt to them now. We can't just be like, we do it our way, take it or leave it. So, yeah.
So the key insight here is we have to make it easy enough for customers to contact us. And there's no, bad way. You don't have to make your email contact or help center at whatever to mimic, to try to look like a huge company that you're not really.
And don't be afraid, like, once we start live chat, we have to answer it all the time, every time. Be honest, leave a little autoresponder that is, hey, listen, it's Saturday, Sunday, it's
super easy. If you're not available, it goes to your email, and it's pretty much the same thing as your
we have challenges being a Polish company, because we have vacation days that are not vacation days in other countries. So even like when we're off here and it's a Tuesday and it's a bank holiday, it's okay to say to our American customers, listen, it's actually a bank holiday where our team is based. Anything you need, if it needs to be escalated, we'll do it. We'll take care of it. But would you mind waiting till tomorrow? Of course we will. Thanks for being honest. Like, you didn't bullshit me that.
Yeah.
You're 24/7 support, because you don't need to do it. So
okay. So key takeaway here: honesty and being able to improve number of contacts from customers. Make it as easy as possible for customer. Don't ask them for bajillion details from their life to even start a conversation.